Due to a car accident, my wife Lin Meili and I were reborn together. When we woke up, we found ourselves back on the day we confirmed our relationship. In our previous life, we had been in a relationship for 8 years, but on the day of our wedding, she eloped with someone else. I was heartbroken, and my mother had a sudden heart attack and died on the spot. Later, I learned that the person she had always loved was her childhood friend, Zhang Yufan. After being reborn, we both unintentionally broke up, hoping to never cross paths again. The next time we met was at her and Zhang Yufan's wedding. She had become a famous dancer in the country and mocked me coldly, saying, "You're nothing but a nobody." I remained silent, then turned and took the hand of my fiancée, the CEO's partner. She immediately changed her expression. "Stop pretending. Who would want a country bumpkin like you?" My fiancée took out a gold-plated invitation, and Lin Meili completely lost her composure. "You said you loved only me. How could you marry someone else?" The next time I saw Lin Meili was at her and Zhang Yufan's wedding. I had just completed a top-tier AI project and came straight from work with my backpack. Lin Meili, in a gorgeous wedding dress, was surrounded by Zhang Yufan like a golden couple. "Meili, this dress is beautiful. I heard it cost hundreds of thousands." "What's that amount of money?" Zhang Yufan is the vice president of Ning Group. His annual salary is in the millions. Ning Group? The top tech giant in the country? I heard it has a market value of billions. Someone with a keen eye spotted me and immediately called out, "Lu Qian is here. Isn't that Moli's first love?" I heard he was so poor he couldn't even pay his tuition, and it was Moli's dad who gave him the money. The crowd immediately parted, leaving a clear path in front of me. Lin Meili's gaze scanned me, and when she saw my old backpack, she immediately laughed. "This is a high-end hotel. Are you planning to pack leftovers?" "Lu Qian, after so many years, you're still so unpresentable." The bag was one I had grabbed casually when I left, indeed a bit worn. But she forgot, back when we were in school, her bag was even more shabby. I was heartbroken when I saw her being mocked, so I sold blood to buy her a new bag. She was deeply moved and cried, saying she'd marry no one but me. But later, on the day of the wedding, she eloped with someone else. I lowered my head and smiled lightly. "Sorry, I didn't know there was a dress code for weddings. I'll pay more attention next time." Lin Meili's expression changed slightly. "What did you say?" Zhang Yufan put his arm around her waist and showed off his Rolex watch. "Baby, don't be upset over something like this. After all, he's from the lower class, all talk and no skills. Wasn't he boasting about paying back that 8,000 yuan 100 times? Looks like this lifetime is hopeless. Indeed, when I took that money for tuition, I promised I would repay it 100 times over. But I never expected that after being reborn, we quickly broke up and never saw Lin's father again. I came to the wedding today just to return the money to him. I put down my backpack and looked around. Where is Uncle Lin?" A classmate was shocked and shouted, "No way. You still expect Uncle Lin to speak well of you and reconcile with Meili?" The mocking eyes from the crowd all turned toward me. "Lu Qian, look at you. You really think a toad can eat swan meat? Yeah, you're almost 30, still so poor. Who will be blind enough to look at you?" Lin Meili looked at me with utter disdain. "We could never be together, so stop holding on to that hope. However, for the sake of our old classmates, I can get Yufan to arrange a job for you. Though Ning has high standards, you could at least be a doorman, which is better than your current odd jobs." Zhang Yufan looked at her fondly. "Meili is truly beautiful and kind-hearted. Don't worry, I'll make sure he has a meal." I shook my head. "No need. I really enjoy my current job." I turned and found a seat, waiting for the meal to begin. Lin Meili followed me, tossing a Porsche key onto the table. "I know you still love me, but you don't want to lower your head in front of Yufan. But Qian, you need to face reality. A woman like me is not someone you can reach. Go work for Yufan. Maybe you'll be able to find a cleaning job and scrape by." I suddenly raised my eyes. In the previous life, to support her dance dream, I gave up further studies and started working early, handing over all my income. To earn more money, I worked tirelessly on projects, staying up late and pushing myself to the limit without daring to rest. Fortunately, my expertise paid off, and I actually achieved some results. But she somehow found out about it and forced me to sell the projects to Zhang Yufan. I went to great lengths to explain the pros and cons of the situation, swearing that I would make a name for myself within a year. But she didn't believe me at all. "Lu Qian, opportunities are for the rich. People like you, a country bumpkin, will never have a chance to rise. You've already wasted so many years of my life. Are you really not willing to give me even this little bit of money? Sell the project, and I'll marry you." Later, I found out that Zhang Yufan had used that project to skyrocket into the management team of a tech company. At that time, I didn't want to investigate, only focused on making Lin Meili happy and marrying her. But on our wedding day, Lin Meili disappeared. All that was left was a video accusing me of cheating, repeatedly playing on the big screen. My mother believed it, and, heartbroken, died of a heart attack. I searched for a long time before discovering that she had eloped with Zhang Yufan. The next time we met, she was furious. "You country bumpkin, how dare you flirt with other women behind my back? Your mother deserved to die. What face did she have left to live after raising a son like you?" I held back my anger and tried to explain that I hadn't cheated, but she immediately threw a photo at me. It was of me walking side by side with a woman, the boundaries clear, with no sign of intimacy whatsoever. As we were about to argue, a car suddenly rushed out from the roadside. When I woke up in my second life, I felt an immense sense of relief. This time, I would never have anything to do with her again. Taking a deep breath, I calmly spoke, "Thank you, Miss Lin, but I don't need it." She instantly widened her eyes. "What did you call me?" In my 2 lifetimes, I had never addressed her with such coldness. Zhang Yufan, however, misunderstood and proudly draped his arm around her shoulders. "You should be calling her Mrs. Zhang. Lu Qian, since you think Xuanning is unqualified for the job, there's no need to force it." He pulled out a thin stack of bills from his pocket and slapped them across my face. "Consider this as a token of our friendship from school. Take it and buy yourself a couple of outfits. In a moment, I'll have the cleaning staff pack up the leftover food for you. You can heat it up and eat it." Laughter immediately spread through the crowd. "Yeah, in such a fancy hotel, he'll never be able to afford it in his lifetime." I bent down to pick up all the bills and handed them back to him. "Your actions just now were intentional damage to RMB. According to public security regulations, you could face an administrative detention of between 5 to 10 days. Zhang Yufan froze, a flicker of hesitation in his eyes. With a loud smack, the money in his hand was knocked to the floor by Lin Meili. "What are you acting all tough for? Everyone knows what kind of person you are. Talking about the law, do you even know where the courthouse is? These 2,000 yuan should be your monthly salary, right? Stop acting so shameless." I felt that it was impossible to communicate with these two, so I grabbed my backpack and tried to leave. The issue with the money could wait. But suddenly my backpack was yanked back. I turned around and saw it was Lin Meili's top lackey, the naive and rich Song Xiao. "Lu Qian, too embarrassed to take it, huh? Well, back in school, you were famous for being the poor campus heartthrob. You wouldn't just take someone else's money for no reason." He lifted one leg and put it on the chair. "How about this? You perform a dog crawl for everyone, and we'll consider the money your performance fee." The crowd burst into laughter, but no one stepped forward to stop the farce. Seeing that I didn't move, he sneered and patted his thigh. "Come on, big campus heartthrob. Do you need me to help you?" As his hand was about to touch my arm, Lin Meili yanked him away. "Get lost. Don't make a fool of yourself here." I looked at her in surprise. I hadn't expected her to step in and save me. Song Xiao was offended by her, feeling displeased. As I turned around, he kicked my backpack again, leaving a large footprint. This bag was of great significance to me, so I quickly took out a tissue and wiped it clean. A sharp-eyed classmate whispered, "Hey, that bag looks like an Hermes flash, with the accessories worth over 100,000. Zhang Yufan couldn't help but laugh. "Him? You probably can't even write the word Hermes. Lu Qian, you're poor, okay, but how can you be so vain?" Lin Meili turned her eyes away, seemingly irritated by my presence, as if I were lowering her status. "It's been 8 years. I never thought the breakup would affect you this much. Forget it. Just go. Let's not meet again." I frowned. Even if she hadn't said anything, I would have left anyway. Just as I was about to stand up, a kind voice suddenly came from behind. "Is it Qian?" Lin Meili immediately grabbed the person's arm. "Dad, Lu Qian has gone crazy. Don't go over." I ignored her, holding my bag, and walked toward the person. "Uncle Lin, it's me. Thanks to the 8,000 yuan you lent me, I was able to finish university." "Thank you," I said with sincerity. "We agreed that I would repay you 100-fold, and today I'm returning the 800,000 to you." Lin Meili rolled her eyes. "Are you done? Can't you stop pretending? Don't talk about 800,000. Even 80,000 would be a stretch for you." The surrounding classmates nodded in agreement, and Song Xiao, the most emotional, added, "If he could come up with 800,000, I'll eat shit standing on my head." Uncle Lin's face hardened. "Don't look down on the poor. Being a good person is far more important than making money. I believe Qian will have his day, sooner or later." I felt deeply touched. In my past life, Lin Meili had accused me of cheating, but it was him who believed in my character, and, in the end, it was him who helped find the person responsible. I didn't say more, just opened my bag and poured out a stack of pink R&B notes. This is 800,000 cash. Please count it. The surrounding area fell completely silent, as if the world had stopped moving. After a long pause, Lin Meili finally spoke in disbelief. Where did you get so much money? It's not fake, is it? I raised my eyes, my expression calm and unashamed. If you have any doubts, you can verify it at any time. Zhang Yufan squatted down and carefully checked the money for a long time, his face growing darker. It's real. But someone like you, how could you have so much money? Did you steal it? Uncle Lin suddenly scolded sharply. Enough. Qian studies hard, works diligently, and is honest. Why do you always look down on him? Just because he's poor. Don't forget, fortune changes hands. He picked up the bag. I'll accept this money, but I won't touch a single cent. If you need it one day, come to me and take it. I nodded heavily. Some students murmured, just admit the bag is Hermes, and you still don't believe it. Wasn't someone going to do a performance? Eating shit while standing on their head? Why aren't you doing it? Song Xiao quickly started to retreat, his face turning red as the attention shifted to him. Lu Qian, we're classmates. There's no need to be so aggressive, right? Meili, look at him. He's bullying people too much. Lin Meili's expression was complicated, as if she still couldn't believe I could come up with 800,000. Enough, everyone, stop making a scene. This hotel is a high-end one under the Ning group. What's the big deal with eating shit in public? Besides, the group's president, Ning, is upstairs. If she hears this and gets upset, she might throw all of you out. Everyone was stunned. Ning, the young president who took over the entire group before she was 30. I heard she's the most beautiful girl in the family and still single. Song Xiao quickly tidied his clothes. Meili, seeing how I've been chasing you for so many years, could you introduce President Cheng to me? After all, I'm a young president of the Song family. My status isn't too bad, right? Lin Meili rolled her eyes dramatically. Stop joking. 100 Song families aren't worth a single Cheng family. Lu Qian, listen to me. This ends here for today. I didn't say anything, feeling curious about how Cheng Ning could be here. She clearly said she was going to the headquarters for a meeting last night. A sudden commotion echoed from the spiral staircase as a young and beautiful woman slowly descended. Zhang Yufan hurriedly grabbed Lin Meili's arm and rushed forward, bowing low and standing at the side of the road. President Cheng, thank you for taking the time to attend my wedding. This is my wife, Meili. Lin Meili nervously tugged at her wedding dress, carefully forcing a smile. The other classmates quickly gathered around, eager to introduce themselves. President Cheng, it's Xiao Song. Do you remember me? I've heard so much about you, President Cheng. It's an honor to finally meet you. Truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. President Cheng, there's a project I'd like you to take a look at. Cheng Ning politely avoided the crowd and walked directly towards me. I came here for a surprise inspection. Didn't have time to talk to you earlier. She took out an exquisitely packaged gift bag from her purse. Inside was a watch. 2 million or so. Not too expensive, but the design is unique. Wear it for fun. The surrounding classmates were stunned, staring wide-eyed at the scene. This is a gold diamond-studded Tiger D Rolex, the most popular watch from Rolex, far more expensive than what Zhang Yufan has. Lu Qian, what's your relationship with President Cheng? I took Cheng Ning's arm and introduced her confidently. She's my fiancée. The crowd erupted in excitement. Lu Qian's fiancé is the CEO of Ning Group. That's a true aristocratic family. You guys said he was going to get back together with Lin Meili? Are you kidding me? There's no comparison. Exactly. 100 Lin Meilis wouldn't be worth even a single finger of President Cheng. Lin Meili's face turned pale, her fist clenched tightly. Stop joking. President Cheng would never look at you. Could it be that you're clinging to him like you did with me back then? I couldn't help but furrow my brow. Back in school, I was reserved and didn't actively pursue girls. It was she who made the first move, often asking me for help with assignments and bringing breakfast as a thank you. I thought she was kind and polite, which is why I gradually began interacting with her. Just as I was about to rebut, Cheng Ning suddenly stepped forward. She was tall and elegant, looking down at Lin Meili. Qian is a returning PhD, a top international expert in the field of AI. The AI projects launched by Ning over the past 2 years have been almost entirely led by him. He is intelligent, wise, virtuous, and responsible in his relationships. He is a rare good man. That he chose me is my blessing. The crowd buzzed again. The expressions on my classmates' faces varied, with mocking and gossiping looks directed at Lin Meili. The country bumpkin she had belittled was now being praised to the skies by Chung Sui-ning. Lin Meili almost bit her lower lip till it bled. Don't get smug. President Chung is just playing with you. An engagement is nothing. It can be broken off at any time. Chung Sui-ning raised an eyebrow, taking out a gilded invitation from her purse and handing it over. That would disappoint Mrs. Zhang. We've already planned our wedding for the end of this month in Switzerland. If you're free, you can come. The flights are all covered. Lin Meili held the invitation, almost swaying as if she might collapse. I had finished my business and didn't want to stay in this place of gossip any longer, so I grabbed Chung Sui-ning's arm and turned to leave. Outside the hotel, a black Rolls-Royce was parked. Just as we were about to get in, Lin Meili suddenly ran up. You clearly said you wouldn't marry anyone but me. How would you like someone else? And when did you go to get a PhD? Didn't you start working right after graduating from college? With Chung Sui-ning present, I couldn't speak about the past, so I responded vaguely. Before, it was you who gave up first. It was you who asked Zhang Yufan to help with my project. I didn't want to pursue a PhD back then because I wanted to start working and earn money as soon as possible. After our breakup, without the financial pressure, I could fully devote myself to academic research. Lin Meili's face turned whiter, but she was relentless and called out to Chung Sui-ning. President Chung, you can't judge a person just by their appearance. Lu Qian is a man worse than a beast. When we were together, he was always flirting with other women. Suddenly, she froze, as if someone had grabbed her throat. Chung Sui-ning, standing with her back to her in front of the car, looked exactly like the person in the photo. She lowered her voice, incredulously turning her head. Was your affair in your past life with Chung Sui-ning? Were you two already involved? I was somewhat speechless. Back then, I was just a third-rate programmer. How could Sui-ning possibly like me? Besides, she's the CEO of a corporation. How could she possibly be willing to be a mistress? When those photos were taken, I was at the Sui-ning group for an interview, and we just happened to come out of the elevator together. Lin Meili grabbed my shoulder excitedly. Impossible. Zhang Yufan said you and that woman were already together. You were out every day, coming back late, always with her. And you lied to me, saying you went on a trip, but Yufan saw you in the city. How do you explain that? I looked at her expressionlessly. A set of skincare products costs over $10,000, and my basic monthly salary is just $10,000. How else could I afford it without working overtime? As for that trip, I was hospitalized after overworking and spitting blood. I lied to you, so you wouldn't worry. Lin Meili's face turned pale, struggling to accept the truth. Impossible. Yufan wouldn't lie to me. Did he misunderstand? I pushed her hand away. In my past life, I had always thought of her, but this was the outcome. Even her mother, who cared for her, had been driven to death by anger. Fortunately, in this life, we parted ways decisively, and my mother was safely living in the countryside. We dated for 8 years, but we didn't even have the most basic trust. Now, we've chosen new partners, hoping to live the life we want from now on. Lin Meili suddenly looked up. You really want to marry Chung Sui-ning? Lu Qian, you said you only liked me and would marry no one else. I looked at her in surprise. That was in the past life. It's all over now. Before she could speak again, I turned and walked toward the car. Chung Sui-ning had been waiting in the car for a long time, without a hint of impatience. She was always emotionally stable and respectful of me, trusting me. Did you sort it out? I nodded, taking the hot coffee she handed me. I have no relationship with her anymore. If it weren't for the debt, I wouldn't have come. She smiled lightly, as though she hadn't given Lin Meili a second thought. I couldn't help but remember the first time we met. While studying in the UK, I took on a simple AI project that needed to be completed within a week. However, during development, we found a hidden flaw that could cause huge losses to users if not fixed in time. So I threw myself into it, working around the clock to fix the flaw. At that time, Chung Sui-ning was responsible for the European region, and upon hearing about it, she specially arranged to meet me and warmly invited me to join Sui-ning. But I still had 3 years before graduation, so I didn't agree. 3 years ago, after completing my PhD and bringing back a pile of research results, I met Chung Sui-ning again at the airport. By then, she had fully taken over Sui-ning, and the company had firmly established itself in the international market. She offered me a generous salary and bonuses. The future world will definitely be ruled by AI. Come to Sui-ning, and let's together create the next wave of AI technology. At that moment, I was deeply moved. She understood my passion for the AI field, my ambitions, and dreams. Over countless collaborations, I gradually realized that she was not only decisive, but also thoughtful, humble, and polite. When she learned that my mother was sick, she personally contacted the best doctor and even took time to visit her in the hospital. I was deeply touched, but I didn't want to think too much about it, focusing solely on my research. Later, as the company grew, I advocated placing the research center's focus on autonomous driving, which was strongly opposed by senior management. I had no choice but to seek out Zhang Yufan. She looked at the proposal for a long time before asking, "Can you guarantee it will be profitable?" Lu Qian, I'm a businesswoman, not a philanthropist. It was the first time I saw her so indifferent, and my heart felt a bit sour. "So what does President Cheng mean?" She put down the proposal and looked at me intently. "If there's no profit, then you marry me. I can't afford to lose both my money and my opportunity." The project naturally turned a profit, and we got engaged. While I had been avoiding this relationship for so long, my mom called. "Since you broke up with Jasmine, you've never been in another relationship. But people have to move forward. You didn't wrong her, so why can't you let yourself go?" It was then I realized that ever since being deceived in a past relationship, I had been too afraid to face my heart. Could I really let such a good person, Zhang Yufan, slip away? Later, we finally confirmed our relationship and smoothly got engaged. Since neither of us liked to be flashy, only the senior executives at the company knew about it. But soon, everyone found out, because Zhang Yufan was arrested for selling project secrets. As the project manager, I rushed to the police station immediately. In just a few days, he looked completely different from the dashing man at the wedding. With a scruffy beard, sunken eyes, he tried to lunge at me the moment he saw me, only to be quickly pinned to the chair by the police beside him. "Yes, I did it. What are you going to do about it?" "Who told you to seduce my wife?" he shouted. I frowned. I didn't even keep Lin Jasmine's phone number. How could I have seduced her? "So you stole secrets worth billions of dollars just because of that? Are you insane?" Zhang Yufan became even more agitated. "Ever since I last saw you, she's been insisting on divorcing me. Who else but you made her do that?" "I'll be honest with you," I said, shaking my head in frustration. "I didn't do this for the money. I just want to make you suffer. Just wait, Suaning will be bankrupt soon." I shook my head again. "I was going to give you a chance, but now it seems unnecessary. The data you stole had the highest level of security protection I set up. The moment you took it, it was all automatically destroyed." Zhang Yufan froze for a moment. Then a glimmer of joy flashed in his eyes. "So, I didn't commit a crime, and you can't arrest me? Lu Qian, just wait. Next time, I'll make sure you die," he yelled as the police grew impatient, stepping in to educate him. "Whether or not Suaning Group suffered direct losses, your actions still constitute the crime of infringing on commercial secrets. You'll be in jail for at least 2 or 3 years. And also, publicly threatening others at the police station violates the law against picking quarrels and provoking trouble. Do you know that?" Zhang Yufan immediately fell silent. Just then, my phone rang with an unfamiliar number. "Qian, Yufan's been arrested, do you know?" It was Lin Jasmine. I glanced at Zhang Yufan's direction. "Are you asking for leniency on his behalf?" Unexpectedly, Lin Jasmine's attitude was resolute. "He was the one who caused all the misunderstandings between us. I wish he were dead. How could I ask for leniency for him? Qian, since he's getting his retribution, our misunderstanding should be cleared up. Let's get back together, okay?" At that moment, Zhang Yufan was being escorted past me by the police, and he heard everything clearly. His expression turned frantic. "Lin Jasmine, you bitch. I've done so much for you, and you're still thinking about him. I'll never agree to a divorce in this life. As long as I'm alive, you won't be with him." The police quickly dragged him away. Meanwhile, Jasmine was still asking on the phone, and without hesitation, I rejected her. "The only person I love is Suaning. I will never be with you." There was a moment of silence on the other end of the line before Jasmine screamed hysterically. "Do you really think Zhang Yufan would like you? She's only after your project, after your ability to make money. If you were still the third-rate programmer from your past life, do you think she'd marry you? Lu Qian, I've already come to you. What more do you want? Don't you have any shame?" It was pointless to keep talking. I hung up the phone and blocked the number. But I had forgotten that she was never the type to stay put. A PowerPoint suddenly shot up on the trending list. I'm not interested in entertainment news, but my colleagues at the company started looking at me strangely. As I was about to walk out the door, a group of people behind me began to whisper and point. "Is it really him? Can't tell, looks so serious, but privately such a mess." A girl came forward with her real name, so it must be true. Forget about him, but the key is President Cheng, so shameless. I turned around and grabbed the person who was speaking. "Isn't that young Master Song? Running all the way to Suaning's door to gossip. You're that bored?" Young Master Song struggled for a moment, but didn't open his eyes, sneering. "Instead of wasting time cursing me, you should be thinking about what to do after going bankrupt. You and Lin Meili's business has spread all over the internet. Lu Qian. Turns out the top expert researching AI hasn't done enough research. You're just a woman. The crowd burst into laughter. I noticed the content on his phone screen and grabbed it from him. It was a PowerPoint presentation by Lin Meili, accusing the female CEO of Suaning Group of being involved in a love triangle. She had listed a detailed timeline, complaining that she had worked hard to make money and supported my studies abroad, waiting for me to return and marry her for 8 years. Yet after I became successful, I found her unacceptable and hooked up with CEO Zhang Yufan. Feeling heartbroken, she decided to marry someone else. But Zhang Yufan, relying on her power, not only humiliated her at her wedding, but also plotted to have her husband imprisoned. Fearing for her life, she turned to netizens for advice on how to resolve the situation. The PowerPoint included many photos. One from the wedding, where Zhang Yufan was speaking to her face-to-face, and another of me getting into Zhang Yufan's car and leaving. Just like in the previous life, normal photos were maliciously twisted and turned into evidence of infidelity. I impulsively slammed the phone onto the ground. If they wanted to target me, fine, but dragging Zhang Yufan into it was something I would never accept. Just as I was about to speak, someone suddenly grabbed my wrist. Zhang Yufan stood quietly behind me, her presence as calm as ever. Qian, you've always been rational. Don't do something impulsive for my sake. I instantly calmed down. Don't worry. Since this started because of me, I will handle it properly. I called in the hotel manager and had the surveillance footage from that day played in full. I also reached out to former classmates and found many intimate photos of Lin Meili and Zhang Yufan on their social media platforms, spanning all these 8 years. I even went to the police station to obtain written materials about Zhang Yufan's crimes. By the way, Lin Meili hadn't realized that my phone has an automatic recording function. Everything she said on the phone that day became the best evidence to counter her. Using my expertise, I made a more vivid and interesting video to respond to every issue raised in her PowerPoint. At the end, I attached a receipt for filing a lawsuit against Lin Meili for defamation and spreading rumors. Once the video was released, it caused a small stir at first. Zhang Yufan found it too slow and secretly contacted a platform for promotion, spending a large sum to keep it on the trending list for 3 whole days. The video was bombarded with likes and comments from netizens, and even young Master Song was dragged into it because of his earlier comment about eating feces. Does CEO Suaning really love doing a love triangle? Is she out of her mind? You guys don't understand. She's sending herself to jail to be with her husband. Prison love is so touching. 1,000 people are petitioning for young Master Song to eat feces live. Lin Meili's and young Master Song's social media quickly collapsed, and they were forced to retreat from the internet. After receiving a court summons, Lin Meili called me from a new number. Qian, did you see how Zhang Yufan treated me? She's a cold-hearted woman. She doesn't love you. Wake up sooner. I paused for a moment, carefully considering my words. Is it possible that the video was made by me? I added this number to my blacklist and set it to reject all unknown calls. Before the court hearing, I received a notice to attend a pre-trial mediation. As soon as we met, Lin Meili tearfully approached me. Why aren't you answering my calls? Are you still mad at me? I never meant to target you. I just wanted to show Zhang Yufan a lesson, who told her to steal my man. I impatiently took a few steps back. Hurting Zhang Yufan is the same as hurting me. Moreover, your PPT was full of slander about me. Also, I'll say this again, we broke up peacefully, and I only got together with Zhang Yufan 7 years after our breakup. Our relationship has nothing to do with you. Lin Meili cried even harder. How can it have nothing to do with me? I'm the person you love the most, the one you had to marry. How could you do this to me? Qian, I was wrong about everything in the past. I shouldn't have doubted you, and I shouldn't have been with Zhang Yufan. Please, give me another chance. I really can't live without you. I was about to firmly reject her, but then a hoarse voice suddenly interrupted from the side. Qian, can you let me say something? It was Uncle Lin. It had been a while since we last met, and he had grown some white hair. He took a school bag from the corner, the very one I had given him that day. Qian, I haven't touched this 800,000. Take it back. Consider it my compensation to you on behalf of Meili. You're a good child, kind and sensible. I've always thought highly of you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have paid so much for your tuition. Can you, for my sake, let Meili go? Looking into his cloudy eyes, filled with hope, I was momentarily at a loss. Lin Meili had been too much, but I could never forget the favor of Uncle Lin paying for my tuition. Moreover, after these 2 hot searches, her career had been severely affected. I heard that all her dance performances for the next few years were canceled. Dance has its golden years, and she was nearly 30. In a few years, Her golden years would be over, and it would be hard to revive her career. I clenched and then loosened my fists, thought for a long time, and finally nodded. But I have one condition. She has to publicly apologize on her social media platforms, and she can never harass me again. Lin Meili's eyes widened in shock, but Uncle Lin pressed her head down, and she signed a non-harassment agreement. That night, our issue made the trending list for the third time. Lin Meili appeared on camera without makeup, apologizing to me, to Zhang Yufan, and to all the confused netizens for her previous slander. I gave this video a public like and reposted it. Soon after, Zhang Yufan liked my repost from the official Yufan account and left a comment with her own meme. The gossiping netizens exploded. No one was paying attention to Lin Meili anymore, and they all started enjoying the sweet moments. Oh my god, this is what a female CEO looks like. So cute. I want to ship them. The male lead is also really handsome, and he's a PhD and a research expert. How could Meili have called him a country bumpkin who's not worthy of her? The more I dig, the more I love it. CEO and academic genius. Totally locked in. The key part was that the main characters themselves replied in the top comment. Thanks. Wedding next month. Everyone is welcome to attend. Gifts of 10,000 are appreciated. When I got home, I found Zhang Yufan, who rarely engaged with entertainment, smiling gently while holding her phone. I curiously leaned over, and she quickly hid the phone. Secret. On the wedding day, many unfamiliar faces appeared. When I asked Zhang Yufan about them, she only said they were friends. I didn't believe her. What kind of friends come to a banquet to eat and take home food and even receive an envelope of cash? Just as I was thinking of stopping someone to ask, someone suddenly called me to pick up the phone. It was Lin Meili. She couldn't get through to my cell phone, so she called the hotel. The voice on the other end was strange, with what sounded like the howling wind. Qian, I've thought of many ways, but I still can't forget you. Every night when I lie in bed, all I see in my mind are the moments of us loving each other in the past life. It's my vanity that made me push you to that point, and it was my vanity that, when I learned about your affair, allowed Zhang Yufan to deceive me away. Qian, I'm on the rooftop of the hotel where your wedding is taking place. The wind is so strong, and I'm very cold. It's so quiet around here. If I jump from here, will that be my atonement? I didn't say anything. After a long pause, she cautiously spoke again. Why aren't you saying anything? Are you scared? I knew you still loved me. I'm coming down to find you now. We'll leave. I calmly interrupted her words, without a hint of emotion. Not speaking is respecting your choice. Miss Lin, whether you jump or come down, that's your choice. It has nothing to do with me, and I won't offer any advice. My wedding is over. I'm about to go to the bridal chamber with my wife. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up. On the other end, there was a hysterical scream. Lu Qian, you can't treat me like this. You bastard. I hung up the phone sharply and turned to glare at the waiter. There's a madwoman on the rooftop. Call the police. In the bridal suite, Zhang Yufan changed out of her simple wedding dress and took out her laptop. The unmanned driving project you suggested last time has received great feedback. Several courier companies have sent over collaboration proposals. I've gone through them, and there's basically no issue. Please review them quickly. If everything's good, we can sign a contract. I looked at her with a bit of amusement. On our wedding night, are you sure you want to talk about this? She raised an eyebrow, looking as though she understood perfectly. It's still for you. If you're not interested, I promise you'll never see these things again. I nodded and smiled lightly, quickly finalizing the plan and signing my name at the end. The laptop was snapped shut, and suddenly everything spun around. I found myself pinned beneath her. Let's get to the main business, big expert. Years later, unmanned driving technology was applied in various scenarios, and Yufan Group's reputation soared to new heights. I never saw Lin Meili again, but occasionally I heard that the madwoman who had climbed to the rooftop accidentally fell and broke both legs. She would spend the rest of her life in a wheelchair. Later, when Zhang Yufan was released from prison, they hadn't yet divorced, so he had to take responsibility for caring for Lin Meili. As for Uncle Lin, I was grateful for his kindness back then, but that kindness had long been exhausted in 800,000 and Lin Meili's turmoil. Those around me noticed I was indifferent to these matters and gradually stopped bringing them up. After all, Zhang Yufan and I now had a child who was already old enough to run errands. There was no point in looking back at the past. People must start a new life,